Hi guys, I'm Micheal Gallagher. I'm a 21-year-old social science student specialising in social work. It came to no surprise to a lot of people whenever I decided to run for welfare officer after being so actively involved in the welfare crew over the last 3 years, having been secretary 2 years ago and being vice secretary this year. Guys, I really do believe I'm the best candidate for the job, solely based on my experience, but as well as that, my strong policies that I'm bringing to the table. This year I served on the union executive as Arts and Human Sciences Programme Officer. I held multiple positions throughout all levels of the union over the last 2 years, and I also have a lot of skills that I think I can bring to the table, like things such as like applied suicide intervention skills, meaning that I can be a welfare officer for people in their time of need. I'm just going to touch a little bit on my policies. I'm bringing some policies to the table, practical policies that a lot of people I've been talking to were saying there were issues. Policies like for people on res, they were talking to me about how they're sick and fed up of maintenance staff coming in at 9 o'clock in the morning without prior permission.
Hi guys, my name's Enda Conway. I'm a 20-year-old geography, plan and environmental policy student. I want to be your welfare officer. Guys, in my time in UCD, welfare has helped me to no end, and that's what I wanted to do for you. It's going to be there for you when you need it. Welfare wants to change from something that is there when times are bad. I want it to be something that's there when times are good, but could be better. Guys, now I'm going to go through a few of my policies, and I'm hoping that you're going to like them enough that you're going to give me the vote. First of all, guys, sexual health. Only 250 STI checks every year are subsidised by the union. Although this is a great help, more can be done. I want to make it so this number goes up. So anybody who needs help is going to get it. If you need an STI check, you can get it and you can afford it. Guys, condoms. They're available here in the student union, but a lot of people don't know that. I want to make it so you can go across to any SU outlet, and when you need protection, you can get it, because condoms are going to be there in a basket, and you can take them. Nobody will know you took them, because it's going to be fast. Okay, guys, we're going to move on to finance. Sponsorship. Sponsorship is a huge thing in welfare, especially with the union in the state it is at the moment, with the debt. I want to bring sponsorship to the union, and I want to use my experience. I want to use my experience as a community development officer, one of the first 5 in Ireland, with Tesco Ireland. I know what they're looking for. I know what these companies are looking for when the people come in and ask for money. And I know what UCD has and how it's going to use its advantages. Guys, not only is there 26,000 students in UCD, but you go home at the weekends. UCD's selling 200,000 views, and that's what I'm going to give the union. More money to help more people. Guys, how many here know that if you can't afford an expensive textbook, that there's a book fund there? How many people know that if you can't afford to pay your ESB bill, or you can't afford to buy dinner, that there's a student assistance fund and emergency welfare fund there? Guys, I know this because it's helped me to no end, and this is why I should be your welfare officer, because I'm going to make sure you know it as well. Thank you very much.
With the current freeze on recruitment, how do you plan on solving the problem of the counselling and health service waiting lists that currently exist in the health centre, which is something that really affects students at the moment? So, what would be your plan, with the recruitment ban in mind, of how to go about solving that problem?
Yeah, one of the things I say in my manifesto, Lacey, is that I plan on having a reach out clinic with the counselling service. So that's like basically a 2-hour-a-week clinic where I plan on using either the counsellor's current duty hours that are there available at the moment, and basically what the reach out counselling service is going to be like. Students have a first point of contact, so whenever they're feeling down, whatever their issue is, they know that they can go there and seek referrals to more serious counselling services. As well, like I hope to actively campaign to ring fence the money that is being saved at the moment by the retirement of the head of counselling last year, and as well by the departure of another member of staff in the counselling service at the end of this month. I want to actively campaign to ring fence that money and make sure that it goes back into students' counselling, because you cannot put a price on the mental health of students. And it's something that I'm so passionate about, just making sure that the mental health of students are looked after. Because if one student's life is saved, that's worth whatever amount of money. Thanks.
On the same topic, guys, I understand what Micheal saying there, that he wants to come in and there's 2-hour first reach clinic. I agree with that, it's a great idea. But I want to be your first reach clinic. I want to be there when you need to talk to somebody, that I'm going to be there. When you need help, and I will put you on. Guys, It's used around the country, and I want to bring it to UCD. There's one way we can cut down the counselling queues, and that's group schemes, an optional group scheme, group counselling service. It's helped a lot of people I know, and it's going to help a lot more. Guys, you go and you get your first counselling service with a counsellor, and if you want, it will give you an option then to go on to a group counselling service. What this gives is an option of people can meet up with other people with their same problems or similar problems, and talk it over and get it out there. Because guys, that's the number one thing we have to do as UCD students. We have to learn that it's okay to talk and it's okay to get it out there. And I believe that by doing this, we're going to cut down the counselling service no end.
Guys, is there any points between the two of you that maybe you disagree on? Would you?
No, just a point that Enda made there that I want to actually expand on. He mentions briefly group counselling services, but in my manifesto I actually include that I'm going to be bringing Aware to campus. That's a group depressions. They actually run group depression counselling services, and I actually know exactly how to bring Aware to campus. I know where to go to get the Aware counsellors. I know who can be the 21-year-old moderators that they're actively seeking to recruit at the moment. And I know I have the experience to actively fundraise, to make sure that the money's in place, to get these vital services in place, and to make sure that all students' welfare is looked after next year. Cheers, Enda.
I just like to rebuttal that there. When you're talking about you want to get Aware in, I agree, Aware is a great group and helps a lot of people. There's another group that works in UL, with UL. It works specially from 19 to 24-year-olds as well, and it's going to help a lot of students, called the Rosebud Clinic. I've been in touch with them and they'd love to help pro bono in UCD. And if this works, then hopefully we can hope to expand on it at a low cost. This is, again, going to help more students.
Welfare, a lot of welfare is campaigns, and particularly getting the idea out there of the supports that are available. What campaigns would you guys bring in that haven't been there before? And in particular, as well, what ones would you see scrapped that are there currently, if there are any that you would? And maybe we'll get a little bit of contentious out of. If you could pick maybe 2 campaigns that are the most important that you'd bring that aren't currently there, what would they be?
Well, one thing that's very disappointing in this year in the union is that there wasn't really a second Shag Week during orientation week for students, for first year students, and for students who are new to UCD Res coming in. What I want to make sure is that there is a Shag Week, that there's condoms delivered to every single house on campus while students are moving in, making sure that they know that they have the proper information and they know all about safe sex. I have a lot of experience actually in this topic. I brought sexual education to a lot of different schools in Donegal when I was just the age of 16. I've been actively campaigning on things like that since that age. A second campaign, Lacey, sorry, could you rephrase the question? You want to know exactly what new campaigns?
A campaign that hasn't been there, and maybe a campaign that is there that you don't think maybe you would do again.
Okay, so I'd actually like to just touch on the Mental Health Week, and one campaign which I'd really like to see is that is another viral video similar to the one that we did with Welfare Crew, the Shag Week video, where people are all talking about their own issues with mental health in an open and honest way, so that UCD students can come together and fight against the stigma of mental health, because it is. Not many people know this, but mental health is the biggest killer of people aged between 15 and 25, and that is something that I want to tackle next year as well for officer. Thanks very much.
And then,
first of all, one of the major things I believe it's a problem in UCD and all colleges, not only in colleges but with young people around Ireland. I'm not preaching to anyone, but I think addictions can be something that takes hold of people. Drugs, smoking, gambling, even alcohol. Some people can get overcome by them. And I want to be there, not to preach to you, but if you want help, I'm going to be there to give you the help. I want to have a Fight Your Addiction Week, where I'm going to have guest talkers in. They're going to say, these are the signs of somebody slipping into an addiction. So friends can help friends, and people who don't even know they have a problem can get notified and say, wait a second, look, this could be happening to me. And if they want help, I'm going to be there for them. The second campaign I want to introduce is a huge welcoming drive. In this drive, I want to make sure that all first year students, they don't have to find out who I am, because I'm going to find out who they are first. I'm going to go up to them and I'm going to talk to them. I'm not going to be the welfare officer, I'm going to be their friend. I'm going to have a welcoming drive where I go across to as many houses, all the houses on campus. I'm going to knock on their doors, I'm going to sit in with them. I'm going to have a cup of tea and a purple snack with them, and it's going to be all okay.
Can I just come back on a point that Enda just made there? Enda made a point that he wants to go to all the houses and meet all the students. I don't know if he's aware that there's actually over 3,000 students living on res, and I've actually done a bit of number crunching. Now, I'm saying that the average worker does work about 30 hours a week, so if he's working 38 hours a week, he's spending 20 minutes with each student to have a cup of tea and a purple snack with them, then you're talking about, that's going to take him 30 weeks straight. It's 30 weeks straight, working 9 to 5 to meet every single student res. I find that a bit of an unrealistic promise. Whereas in my own manifesto, I speak about more realistic things about, sorry, I'm going to actually stop there, and you look like you want to rebuke him.
Well, I know Micheal thinks it's unrealistic, but a previous welfare officer, Conor Fingston, didn't, and he did it. And I'm going to do it as well. Guys, we're going to go around. Welfare is not going to be my job. Welfare is going to be my life. I'm not going to use the welfare's hours. I'm going to go there in the evenings, and I'm going to use my time to visit you. I'm going to make this happen. If it's not realistic now, I'm going to make it realistic.
As a result, so one flaw in your opponent that you think that you don't have that you're better than, essentially, on, what would it be?
Oh, I'll let Enda go first if he wants to draw first blood.
It's left to right, like, it's left to right. So
oh, we're still going left to right.
Go on, guys. You're looking for the students' votes here to be the welfare officer for next year. So why are you the better candidate? Why is your opponent not as good as you are?
I'll go. I think that I'm the better candidate. Because although I have experience inside of college, I also have the experience needed that will bring this welfare the money it needs and the help it needs to help even more students. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it to every one of you, and I'm going to help as many people as possible. Guys, look, what can I say to you? Welfare is something that's deep into my heart, because I wouldn't be in UCD right now if it wasn't for the help of our last two welfare officers. This drive and experience, from life experience, guys, people will come into my office and they're going to have their problems. And look, I may be able to relate to a lot of them. And using that experience, that's the experience I've got, I'm going to be the better welfare officer.
Yeah, well, I believe that I'm going to be a better welfare officer because I've worked as a core member of the welfare crew since day one of university for the last 3 years of my life. I came into UCD studying to become what I wanted to do all my life is study and become a social worker to help other people. Before I leave UCD, I want to know that I've actually worked actively to contribute to help and work for students' welfare. I think I'm the better candidate for the job because over the last few years I've done things such as being a core member of the welfare crew, being secretary of the welfare crew last year, and also being vice secretary of the welfare crew this year. I know every single welfare campaign that's been run the last 3 years, inside and out. I've also have key things such as assist training and also working on various levels throughout the union. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there.
Guys, any rebuttal at all? Come on, guys, I want to hear false.
Can I just put a question to Micheal? Yeah. Micheal, in your manifesto you say that you want to make it so there's no charge for students that have been bullied if they want to, when they're going to move away from the bully. It's my personal belief that if you're being bullied, you aren't the one that has to move. The bully has to move, because you did nothing wrong. You've settled into your house and you have done nothing wrong, and you deserve to stay there. It's the bully that has to move, not the person being bullied.
Well, and I'm actually glad that you brought that up because if you read the point fully, I also mentioned students who are suffering from culture shock and other issues. I think that if you're in a hostile environment, that you shouldn't have to pay to move out of that environment. You shouldn't have to suffer financial restrictions that are keeping you within that environment. Thanks very much.
As well, Micheal, you say that you want to campaign with Dublin City Council so the grants come out faster. I'm from Mayo, so what can Dublin City Council do for me?
And I don't know if you realise this, but all the grants are being centralised in September under the Student Support Bill.
Yeah, the centralised grants fund, I know this, yeah. And Dublin City Council will have nothing to do with that. It was going to be a centralised fund across Ireland. So I'm going to lobby the centralised grants fund to make your grants come out faster.
Which has been administered by Dublin City Council.
Yeah, it's great. What's more, it's going to be coming out in smaller instalments, guys. So I'm going to make sure you know how to budget those instalments. So you know how to use it rightly, and you're not going to be left with no money in your pocket. Thank you very much.
In both of your manifestos, there are some quite excellent promises, some really great campaigns, and some really great ideas. But some of the ideas as well are quite bold, let's say. They're quite new. They're very innovative, and they're very it might be difficult to achieve. Guys, things like, I'm talking here, peer support networks, sponsorship, I'm looking at the Student Assistance Fund maintaining an extra 300,000 a year. Guys, it's great to promise these things to students, and anyone can come up with ideas that are lovely and that will help students, but I want to know how you intend on doing them. And I don't mean I'm going to campaign, I'm going to lobby. I want to know the specifics of how you intend to get your new ideas in, because it's one thing to tell students that you're going to do things, it's another to know how you're going to do them.
Yeah. Would you like me to take it first, Stacey? Yeah, certainly. Some of my new initiatives that I'm bringing in is such as working with the LGBT auditor and the coming hour, where students can come for advice on sexuality, or if they're looking to come out. That's very easy. So that's very easy the way that's going to be done. Just simply put up advertisements showing when the coming hour is going to be on, renting a room, and just working in coordination with the LGBT auditor. Yeah, and do you want to mention it?
First of all, Lacey mentioned sponsorship. How am I going to get it? Guys, I'm going to use my experience to get it, as I said earlier on. I've been in touch with 3 major companies around Ireland, and the 3 of them are very interested. Guys, ENS has its own sponsorship. It's been done before by a welfare officer 5 years ago, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to get welfare sponsorship. Number 2, the peer support scheme. Guys, this is one that's very close to my heart. It's for all students that are on placement, whether you're in commerce, nursing, medicine, or radiography. You need your support. I mean any course that's on placement. You need support. I was in touch with the head of the peer mentors, and he said it's a great idea. They said it's a great idea. So what it entails is, you get in touch with 3rd and 4th years that's in that course already, and you link them with 1st years and 2nd years that are going into placement. What this gives, when they come home in the evening, and if they've after seeing something that they just distresses them or maybe gets them down, they have somebody they can send a message to, they have somebody they can call, and they have somebody that's there to listen. And if that doesn't work, I'll always be here to listen.
Okay guys, thanks very much.